Hi friends, so I'd like to talk to you about Noah Klocek or Klocek. Sorry, I'm really not sure how to say his name. But this is one of my favorite artists, and yeah, this is part of the series where I show you some of my favorite artists and stuff. And once again, feel free to tell me about any artist that Noah's work reminds you of, or tell me how you feel about his work, his art, and anything like that. So let me know. Anyways, so Noah has been working at Pixar for about 10 years, and his work is so incredible and beautiful and dreamlike, and it's just a beautiful fantasy world to experience and look at, and it's got so much like childlike wonder in it and a lot of charm, and it just really means a lot to me, and I hope you'll see that in his images. And so he also has a book that he finished recently, or I think in the past year or two, called Cloud Country, and he's been working on that for a while, and he even tried multiple attempts at it. Like, he scrapped a bunch of attempts that weren't exactly the way he wanted it. So this guy works really, really hard to get the exact vision that he wants across with what he does, and I really admire that. Anyways, he also has this book called The Slumber that he sold at CTN, and it says coming soon. Maybe you can contact him if you want to get it or something, because I really recommend it. Here, I have my copy here, and it's just so beautiful. It's full of like sketches that he made for here. Like, it says, the description is there. It's about a story called The Slumber, and it's just beautiful sketches that are accompanied by also final illustrations that are like just beautiful, like dreamscapes kind of, with children. And I think it might be his two daughters, or it might not be his two daughters. It might just be like a nondescript child character. But yeah, it's really just so beautiful to look at. Yeah, and it's nice to have in your hands. It's just like a really beautiful little, very, very appealing book. So yeah, I hope that he makes that available online. That would be really cool. But in the meantime, you can get Cloud Country, and I'd like to get that also, because I'm sure it's just as beautiful as this one. So yeah, let's talk about more of his stuff. Also, if you want to check out his Vimeo channel, he has like these really well made, really visually appealing and like nicely edited videos about the making of Cloud Country, and also plein air pastels. And he goes out with his kids actually really, really often. I think every weekend or something like that, and they just do pastel drawings of plein air nature, and they go hiking in these beautiful places. And it's just really nice to have this really passionate guy expressing his work and getting art into his children's lives too. I find that just a really beautiful message, and living your life the way you want it and as full as you can. And he appreciates his family, and he's inspired by them and stuff like that. So it's really great to have him share that online with us. And if you go on his websites, he has a blogspot, Twitter, and his own site called Image Block. And I think it's because Klocek means block, and so he made this name for himself, Image Block, which I find is really, really cool. I like it a lot. And you'll see that on his Tumblr and stuff like that, he posts a lot of pastels that he does with his children while they're out on their nature outings, and I find them so beautiful. They're like really free, and there's a lot of this was his booth at CTN that he's showed pictures of being set up and stuff. It's really cool. Oh, whoops, that's the wrong one twice. Anyways, yeah, this is Cloud Country. I just want to, okay, yeah, the pastels. So this is beautiful. Like, they're really like going out into these beautiful places, and he's experiencing that with his family, so it adds some meaning. Not that it wouldn't be meaningful if he did it alone, but these are memories that he's going to share, and he's recording also the fact that he went out and was in this beautiful place. And it's just really nice to be able to see these things. Like, I love when people do plein air stuff, because then you feel like you're there with them, or you're getting how they felt about the place, and it's really nice. Yeah, I love the red here. Everything is so nice, and like fluid. I don't know. I find he really expresses stuff really nicely in his work. And I find this really like emotional. It's really touching, this when you look up again and your other baby kid is also a little lady. And this too is because of this one. When you look up and your baby kid is a little lady. I can't imagine what it's like to be a father, but you know, it must be really moving to see your children grow up, you know. Yeah, so these are some pastels that he's doing. They're really beautiful. He really captures this nice light and nature and like organicness and stuff like that, and warmth. So I really like that about his work. These are some more pastels. So pretty. It's really beautiful. This is a character that you'll see a lot in some of my favorite pieces of his, and I really love the way he does foliage. It's really beautiful and like clumpy and chunky kind of. And I love these characters because they remind me of I'm not sure what culture it is, sorry, but there's like these costumes that are I think have like a mythical origin, where there's a bunch of bells, or like he's wearing basically like a big cape. It looks like it's made of hay or something, so it's like a big cape, hay, and then a bunch of bells and horns and like masks and cool fabrics and ribbons and stuff like that. Like I'm pretty sure he's inspired by those images that I've seen. I think they're collected in a book somewhere. I'll try to link it in the description if I find it. Yeah, it's this like folkloric like costumes that are really interesting and chunky and cool. So yeah, I really like this character. And this is from Slumber. It's just so playful and beautiful and imaginative. I love it so much. And the shapes are so like dreamy, you know. They're really like illustrative, and I just find everything he does is so appealing and nice. So yeah, I don't want to get repetitive in the words that I say. I know I often just repeat the same word. I'm like, wow, cool, awesome, nice. But I hope you're like getting what I'm trying to say about his images. They're really nice. They're really touching. And the shape language and the colors and the wonder in the characters, he communicates it really well, I find. And that's something that really inspires me about his images. And his sketches are so nice too. I really love his shapes. I can't get over it. Like his line work and his shapes, and like there's like a certain looseness and like naivete about it, or whatever that word is. I just love it. I can look at this forever, and I like how he doesn't overcomplicate it. He gets the essence, and he gets like the beauty of the thing and the beauty of his vision down, and he doesn't like, you know, try to add any frills or anything. It's just really beautiful the way it is. And this is something from Cloud Country, and it's just so beautiful. And this took a lot of work too. You can see on his Vimeo how many different tries he put this through, and I think he like he did a drawing and then he traced it, and then he tried to do a pastel thing as a test, and like a bunch of like back and forth between his process stages, and it's really interesting to see that. He works really, really hard, and it's really inspiring. This is one of the older images that I've seen of his, and like at the beginning of Slumber, I think, and it's so beautiful. It's so dreamlike. You just imagine this kid, you know, here with all this stuff floating around him, fishes swimming, and I love images like this that really drag you into a world and make you feel all these things, and like I don't know, I can't describe it. There's almost nothing like images like this, you know. Images like this are so much better than just something that's kind of empty. Like this is so full. I don't know if you know what I mean. And I actually just noticed this huge silhouette here that I think I used to just look at this and only see the foreground, and now I'm seeing all the like, you know, this suggestion of a huge fish. Really cool. Anyways, yeah, I really love it. And I love all these little designs of the different sea life and plants and stuff. It's really pretty to look at. Oh, and a lamp too, and books, and it's really beautiful. Yeah. And some more sketching, some more really beautiful sketches. I love these like free lines, really fluid and stuff. Yeah, so that was a bunch of those things. pastels and stuff. And this is from Cloud Country. It popped up earlier, but I wanna look at it for a second. I really love this. I love like how I don't know, like it's just so imaginative. This is probably a character, and this is like a humongous cloud guardian man. He's so beautiful. I love his mustache and his little hands and this cane. It's really beautiful. I love this. I love this sketching style. It's really great. Yeah. And this is actually the booth exactly as I saw it at CTN. And Noah is such a nice guy. He's really humble and really nice. And we went to talk to him, and he was like, "Oh, thank you so much." And we were like, "You inspire us so much. Your work is beautiful." And he was just, he sounded surprised. He seemed surprised that people are so affected by what he does. And I really like that he's such a nice guy. Yeah, and he just works really hard. He's really humble and authentic, that kind of stuff. I like that in an artist. Yeah. And this is a podcast that he's a part of. Creative Trek is really good overall, but this is one of my favorites because it was so nice to listen to. Noah imparts a lot of not dignity, but what's it called? A lot of wisdom. Yeah, he imparts a lot of wisdom in this podcast. And he says this one line, he says this one line that is really, really important to me. I kind of like almost don't want to say it because it would be a spoiler, and I want you to like discover the line that I have that means a lot to me as you listen. But I guess I'll just say it so that people who don't want to listen to this hear it anyway. So spoiler for the people who don't want to hear the line that means a lot to me, just mute me for a second. It's this part where he says rhythm replaces strength or something similar. Sorry if I get it wrong, but the idea behind that, and he explains it in the podcast, is that if you find a way to make consistent efforts, and they're smaller, but they have more of a consistency throughout your life, and you actually start, working on things in a more just basically consistently, like with a small rhythm. You create a rhythm, and your life becomes more like you actually start doing the things you want instead of like. I'm making it a little bit too complicated, sorry, but the idea is still there. It's like strength to me is like rhythm replacing strength in the oh my god, I'm explaining it so wrong. Sorry about this. It's terrible. I'm like ruining the whole video, but I'm gonna leave it in so you can see my weird failure to explain. So anyway, strength would be like when you try really hard and you think like, oh, I really have to force myself to work on this thing for 5 hours today, and then you kind of put it off. You don't want to do it, and even if you did do it, it wouldn't be so great because you had like forced it and pushed it, and then the next day you wouldn't want to do it either. Kind of stuff like that. Like strength is kind of like an approach that's like really aggressive and not so fun and not so easy to keep up, whereas rhythm is like more organic and fluid, and you kind of get into a flow and you get to know yourself, and anyways, it just has this like rhythm replaces strength. Let's just leave it at that. It can tell me what it means to you, because that's kind of what it means to me, and I really like that idea. It kind of started changing a lot of how I see certain things when I listened to him talk about it throughout this. Anyway, sorry for that like huge failure. Yeah, let's talk about some of his other pieces that I really like a lot in this kind of series of paintings. They're on here on his main site, imageblock.com. And here's some Cloud Country stuff. And the cool thing about these, and he explains it in some of his Vimeo videos, is that you see these little textury strokes over here throughout the painting. Some of this texture is his daughter's finger painting and stuff, and he put them in on Photoshop with like blending modes and stuff. And I just find that really cute that he, incorporated some things that his daughters did into his images, or like he would start with what they did and move on. And I find that really nice and like a way to include your loved ones. Yeah, so I like that a lot. This book is really great. I can't wait to have it in my hands. I'm going to try to order it someday. So yeah, here's some of his images that are really affected me when I first found his art a few years ago, and I love them so much. Like there's so much imagination and beauty here, and it's a character going on an adventure, and it's a child. These are like things that things that always get my heart. And if you know me, if you know my stuff, like if you know my tastes or whatever, this is it basically. This is like the best for me. It's just like a kid going on a crazy adventure in beautiful places, and the light and the nature and everything. It's just like this is the top for me. These images just make me feel so much, and I hope they do the same for you. And you can view them larger, I think, on his Tumblr. Yeah. Anyway, so they're great. Like there's such a strong sense of like atmosphere and capturing beautiful moments of a journey, and I just love that. I really appreciate artists who do this, because like you can tell that he's imagining this place and this feelings and the way it looks, the way it sounds, the way you can tell that he's imagining all this stuff. And look at these little houses here, and this cat, and this beautiful little train, and they're thinking about the train, and it's really great. I love this too. It's really meaningful. These images carry a lot, and you can tell just by looking at them. And I think they probably mean something different to each person who looks at them. But yeah, I really love it. And I love how there's like all these areas of shadow, and I actually didn't notice this before, but there's these little animals in the shadow looking at the kids, and that's really great. It's so cool. Yeah, I haven't seen this before. It's so cool. It's an astronaut. That's really cool. Wow. Yeah. His stuff is so cool. It's always these like really dreamy topics, and I love his shapes and colors, and also he explores a lot of different mediums. I haven't really seen that many people use pastel this expressively and nicely. It's so cool. I think pastel is an incredibly intimidating medium. I've never used it. I never like actually tried. Anyways. He does really nice stuff with it, really expressive. Yeah. So, and this is some of his plein air. And so he worked on Good Dinosaur and other films at Pixar. So yeah, I just wanted to show you guys his stuff. I find it incredibly beautiful and expressive, and like I said, all the stuff that I said. And sorry about the not being able to explain rhythm replaces strength properly. But yeah, it does mean a lot to me. And try to listen to the podcast with him, and he's a really, really cool guy. So yeah, support his work and go follow him on Tumblr and all that. Let me know what his stuff means to you, if it affects you in a certain way. Yeah. So okay. Bye. Hope you enjoyed it. Let me know if you knew about him or not, or whatever. If you like his work. Yeah. Okay. Have a nice day. Have a nice weekend. Bye.